All right, so this video is going to show the new setup that I am going to be testing on this thing, just to make sure I get everything kind of dialed into about precise as I can to make sure everything's working properly. So the first thing we have is that I've labeled the Raspberry Pi, and you can see that each thing that's plugged into a port has a corresponding number, because the boot order of the ports makes a difference. So controller gun number 1 is right here, and that's going to be player 1. Okay, and it's in this top USB 3.0 port because that's the way it's labeled in the system. Then the same thing for controller gun number 2 is down here in the bottom. That is port 2 in the system, USB 3.0. Then we have the keyboard is going to be on port 3. And finally, the wireless controller I'm using for testing on port 4. And those are the USB 2.0s. Okay. Then we want to make sure that the audio and video is hooked up properly also. And the power. So I've labeled the power with a little power symbol. I've labeled the HDMI that we want to use with an X, and the HDMI we don't use with a circle with a slash through it. And then I've labeled the audio just because I went a little crazy with labeling everything. And I've also labeled the Ethernet. Once again, just kind of, as long as I'm labeling stuff, might as well label it all. Then the next thing, of course, is on each one of the devices. So we have one on the red gun, which is going to be player number 1. We have 2 on the blue gun, which will be player number 2. Okay. Then we have the keyboard. And then what I'm using right now for my testing is my wireless controller here. So that doesn't really need to be labeled itself. Then, of course, we have this 24-inch monitor that I'm temporarily using. I have some other monitors I could use. I have that one at some point, but that's my TV. And then I also have some other monitors over here that I might eventually use. I don't think I have anything that's 42-inch, but this one is probably pretty close. I'll have to measure it again to make sure exactly what size it is, but I think it's 36 or something. That might be the best I have for a 42-inch right now. But I might be able to look around and see if I can find a cheap 42-inch at a thrift store or something. I don't know, maybe once I start working again. I just recently went to an interview the other day, and they're going to be offering me the job soon, so yay for income. So I'm excited about that possibility. And maybe then I can get like a nice, maybe I'll just upgrade my TV to a 42-inch and just hang it on my wall. But that is what we're doing right now. So like I said, we've flashed a brand new image. And the first thing I have to do is I have to boot up the Raspberry Pi and allow the image to expand, because the first time you run it, it's only like 9 gigs and there's only like about a gig worth of space to load on, but I have a 16 gig card in there, and so in order to get the full use out of it, I have to run it at least once. Now, the other problem I have is that over here, I do have a 64 gig card, but that was the one that seems to be damaged now, and I can't seem to get the full size out of it. But I do also have a 32 gig card that has the other system that I was trying the other day where I got just Duck Hunt working. And so I want to leave that right now as kind of my fallback in case I can't get this bare bones system to work. Maybe I can keep messing with the 32 gig system and get more games on that to work. So that's going to kind of be my fail safe right now. But if I can get this version, this bare bones version to work, then we'll use the 32 gig. And that way we'll have plenty of space for all the arcade games and all the PS1 games, because those take up the most space. And then eventually maybe I'll just get a new 64 gig card because that one got fried. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. And I'm going to be trying to do some testing, loading on some games, stuff like that. Probably most of this weekend. Tomorrow I have to go in for my discuss my salary and all that with the new job and, do HR paperwork and all that. And then Friday, I have a bunch of errands to run. So it's probably mostly going to be Saturday and Sunday I'm going to be testing on this, but I will let you know the progress.